Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we'll be going over the second episode of Gotham that premiered tonight. I just got done watching it and here are a few of my thoughts. So we start out picking up from last week with the little boy that ran to Jim Gordon at the end of the episode. The doctor is checking him out and Jim is telling Bullock that the little boy ran several miles across town. He got away from these people that are calling themselves the soothsayers. They apparently have kidnapped several of the children that were left in Gotham, and they are forcing them to build a tunnel that would go underneath the river to get to the mainland. Jim once again begs the mainland to give them support to bring more food. Of course, they're turned down. No help is coming because of the incident with the helicopter in the previous episode. They're basically on their own yet again. From there we go to a scene of Bruce going to what looks like to me maybe an old cemetery, something like that. He's going in search of the witch that was mentioned from the last episode. There's a bunch of plants. It looks like some people have been wrapped up in the plants, like maybe the plants are killing them slowly, suffocating them, that kind of thing. So obviously the witch is Ivy, the new Ivy, I should say, the latest incarnation of her. As Bruce is walking through this place, these men come up behind him. They have apparently kidnapped Ivy. They've thrown her in a place and put salt on the floor, so she's basically useless. And Bruce tells them that he wants a few minutes alone with her. He makes up a story saying that his brother has been kidnapped and he wants to know where he's at. After that, we see Jim go to the Siren Club. He's needing ammunition. He's needing vehicles to get to where the soothsayers are keeping these children, and he asks Barbara for help. Of course, she's still reeling over the death of Tabitha, so she's not exactly cooperating. Jim decides to just go ahead and take what they've got at the GCPD to try to save these kids, and he and a couple of men take off through the dark zone to get to where the kids are being held at, where they encounter some people looking like they're dressed like they're ready for purge night, including some with arrows that start shooting at the vehicle. When they arrive at the place where the soothsayers have the children, a kind of a small fight ensues, but they are able to get in there to them, and they let the children free, and they're loading up to take them back to the GCPD. Meanwhile, back at the place where Bruce and Ivy are, Ivy tells Bruce that she didn't do any of the killings of these men, that the plants actually did it. They took over, they did it themselves, and Bruce tells her that he has a friend who's been injured and maybe she can help. Jim and Bullock are trying to escort the children back across town when trouble happens, and they take refuge inside this creepy old building, and Jim starts exploring, finding all kinds of funhouse shenanigans. Bruce has helped Ivy escape, and she double crosses him, ends up killing the guys that have captured her. He of course tells her she didn't have to kill them. She says she wanted to. She's using their bodies as nourishment for the earth, and in turn this place is growing all kinds of creepy stuff. She tells him about a seed that could possibly help Selena. That's when he tells her that the friend of his is Selena. Now, at first she says she won't help her, but then he tells her, you were friends, you grew up together, and she changes her mind, and in order for him to leave her alone, she says she'll help him save her. Now, originally I was not very happy with the recasting of Poison Ivy for the third time, especially because I've never been a fan of Peyton List, but I really think that she has found her calling in this role. I really think she's good. Like I said before, I've never been impressed with her on any of the shows I've seen her in, but it turns out she's pretty good in this role. Back in the creepy house, Jim runs across a little boy who appears to be one of these lost children that maybe the soothsayers had, but it turns out that he's basically kind of a trap. Jim and Bullock get put inside this room where there is this creepy looking person with like a China doll face. Thanks again for the nightmares, Gotham. And they start fighting against them. The creepy new character somehow gets away, and then we go back to Bruce and Ivy, where Ivy is harvesting this seed that is supposedly going to help Selena. She gives it to Bruce, tells him he has a limited time to get this to her, and he runs, and she is now free to do whatever she wants. Outside the creepy dollhouse, Bruce not Bruce, but James and Bullock and the kids are back again trying to escape. They run out into the street and they're met with the Purge Night looking people trying to kill Jim, since there is a bounty out on his head. And out of nowhere, Barbara swoops in and saves the day. More little hints between Gordon and Barbara, and it really makes me wonder if by the end of this season she's not going to end up pregnant with the future Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. Now, thanks to Barbara, Jim can get the kids safely to a safe zone where it kind of looks like the Narrows, but I don't think it is. Maybe just the same area that they used to film that in. But anyways, this is the safe zone where they have the kids. It looks like they're kind of starting to branch out and maybe, fight for the city again. But it's kind of a happy ending sort of thing. But Barbara does tell James that, he owes her one, and she will come calling for that debt. Then to end the episode, we have Bruce giving the mystery seed to Selena. She ingests it and starts to have a seizure. The doctor comes in, tries to get her stabilized, and then it cuts to a little bit later. Bruce realizes that she's not in the bed anymore. He runs back in the room. Of course, at this point, I'm thinking she's already jumped out the window because the window is open. But he turns around and she is behind him. She tells him she feels strange, different, but she is walking. There's no pain. She's really kind of stoned out looking at this point. And he runs and gives her a hug. She's, kind of weirdly opening, closing her eyes, and then we zoom in to where her eyes have now turned into cat's eyes. So that's how we leave the episode. Overall, it wasn't as impactful as last week, but it was still a pretty good episode. And so let us know your comments, what you thought of the episode, anything like that. Remember to hit the like button if you liked this episode, and the subscribe button if you'd like to hear more from me. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll get back to you probably tomorrow because I've got another Young Justice recap on that one. So thanks, everyone.